Who do I have here today?
Robin Pettersson, Pathway Consultants.
Robert Pettersson, Pathway Consultants.
Yeah.
And what is Pathway Consultants?
So Pathway Consultants, I started it a year ago, and I provide human resources consulting and talent acquisition assistance, so headhunting services.
So, is it for people who want to look for jobs, or someone who's already got a company, or?
So I provide a resume review. I coach people on how to conduct an interview, or from the applicant side and whatnot. I typically do that as a free service for people wherever I can. I specifically target for clientele businesses to help them find talent.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
I'm born in Sweden. English is my third language. My family moved here originally in 1994, and it took us a long time. We got dual citizenship in 2003. The reason it took so long was because my parents were holding out to maintain dual citizenship, and so there was a lot of paperwork and a lot of hoops.
Wow.
But we finally got it, and I'm going to give away my age a little bit, but because I was young enough, I got it automatically because they got it. So,
Wow.
yep.
You're originally from Sweden. You grew up in Sweden?
Yep.
Is it as cold as I hear? Is it cold up there all the time?
It's freezing, yeah. No, it's, and that's typical. You'll read about it online. In Sweden, the mothers will put their baby in the stroller with, furs or blankets outside to take a nap, even if it's snowing. And if it is snowing, you just put an umbrella over it, so it doesn't pile up on the baby kind of thing. So I was born in January. It was minus 17 Celsius. I'm not so great with Fahrenheit, but it's cold.
Yeah.
Snow on the ground, and I always say that's why I run so hot here, because I'm born in the snow.
I think I've seen some videos of Sweden. It's safe. It's a safe, isn't it really safe?
It's very safe. Was very safe. I guess I should caveat. When I was young, we didn't lock the door, leave the keys in the car, kind of.
That's the way it was like us. We never did either.
Like small town USA kind of a feel, right? But times have changed, of course, and with a lot of the events of the last 10, 15 years, a lot of migrating going on and whatnot, we've certainly seen an increase in crime and things of that nature. So
it's a shame. It
Yeah.
really is. My kids will never know, never understand when growing up.
Yeah.
So when you came over here in '94 as a dual citizenship,
Yeah.
and where'd you come to originally?
We moved to Jupiter, Florida.
Okay.
So I'm the child of missionaries, and my father came here on a work visa. Always had the dream of coming to the States, and so that an opportunity presented itself. A church was going to get started in Jupiter. He had been pastoring in Sweden for over 35 years, and so he had an opportunity to share his knowledge and help the guy that was starting up, because he hadn't done it before. So it was a 2-year contract, so he came over and helped with that. And then as that was coming to a close, my parents did what most people did in the 90s. Looking for work, you went and applied with the employer that hired everyone that came through the door, seemingly, Walt Disney World. And so that's how they were able to maintain their status here, so they could work here and stay here. So Dad went into bus operations, and he trained probably thousands of buses during his time at Disney, and Mom went into monorail. And,
No kidding.
Yeah, they're both retired from Disney. So.
No, my son works there now,
Yep.
and I worked there.
Yep.
I worked there for 2 years. I took the reservation when people called the 800 number.
Oh, God bless.
I would try to upsell them to
Yeah.
the photo and all that good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
My kids were young, and they got to go for free when
Yeah.
I worked there, so that's
Yeah.
fine. So, am I okay to assume it's a Christian?
Yep. Absolutely.
So after that, they both retired, and you went through school. What did you do?
I learned English at Wendell Watson Elementary here in Lakeland.
Oh, yeah.
So I went there, and so I was 8 when we moved here, and I was held back a year just to give myself the opportunity to learn English. I didn't speak English at all when we came here. And my teacher would look at me and speak. I had no idea, and she would give up because she didn't speak Swedish. And I still remember, I can see it in front of me. She pointed at a chair that she had set up in the corner, and she handed me a book. And I know now that was a picture dictionary. So I sat in the corner with my picture dictionary, flipped through, and began to learn English. And I remember I had the hardest time. There were 2 pictures that were so difficult. One was the word kitchen, and it was a picture of an entire kitchen with dishes on the sink. There was a dog on the floor. There was a window and kids outside playing. There was just so much detail. And I was like, what part of this is the kitchen? I didn't get it. And the other one was the word knot, like you tie a knot. the picture was a hand with a finger like this, and they had tied a bow around the finger, and I found that confusing. So it was challenging. But no, I learned English through play with the neighborhood kids and
You were
whatnot.
young enough to still do good.
Okay.
But it's be so much. So Swedish, is it really different than English? I mean, night and day.
I would say so. Yeah.
How do you say fantastic?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. English is, you have masculine and feminine languages, and English is a very masculine language. We speak from down here, you know,
Yeah.
grunt, grunt. And Swedish is a very feminine language, kind of like French. You speak it at the tip of your tongue.
Okay.
När man pratar svenska så pratar man här framme i munnen. So it's very, yeah.
Wow, that's a pleasure. That's neat to have. That's
Yeah.
really neat.
Can be very sing-songy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after high school, what'd you do?
After high school, I graduated the IB program up there at Gateway High School in Kissimmee, and I was on track to attend Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and I was going to become a commercial airline pilot. And as I was kind of positioning the chess pieces for that, my parents let me know that they had received an offer to pastor a church in Sweden, and they were going to move back to Sweden. I wasn't really feeling the school thing so much. The IB program is quite rigorous, and I felt like maybe I don't want to dive right into becoming a pilot right now. So I started to talk to them about wanting to move with them back to Sweden. And long story short, I came to learn about Word of Life Bible School in Uppsala, Sweden. So I went there and I attended both years that they offered there for Bible school.
Like a seminary?
Essentially, yeah. So first year, maybe more focus on your foundations of your faith and things like this. And second year, you could choose to kind of specialize in things. And so I went into the track of focusing on counseling and missions. And so they send out missions teams every year from the Bible College. So I went to Tajikistan and was there for a month.
Where's that?
Tajikistan is west of China, north of Afghanistan.
I'm American. I don't know that geography, so it's
Yeah.
way over there.
A whole lot of stands over there, right?
Yeah.
But it's essentially, you know, former Soviet, and the signs are very much there with the bullet holes in the walls
Are
and
you
potholes
serious?
and broken down tanks and stuff. It's at the time I was there, it was considered, and I would think so still, very much kind of the gateway between the Middle East and Russia and the former Soviet Union.
Okay.
So there's a lot of human trafficking, weapon smuggling. Al-Qaeda has
Lawlessness.
training camps there. It's Islamic law.
And they're sending Christian.
Yeah, so the church is underground. Very
Oh.
secretive. So I don't know how broad your audience is. I can't, I guess, say too many things. But no, it was very 007. You know, like the church was in an old abandoned building kind of thing,
Wow.
and there were kind of stepping stones in a muddy grass patch that we had to go across, and then there were two wires hanging out of the ceiling tile in the soffit or whatever. So you put those together, and that buzzes the doorbell inside, and then they come and let you in.
Dude.
So
I only think
it
of
was
that
pretty
in the
neat.
movies.
Yeah, I felt like I was in a movie a lot of times over there. You stick out like a sore thumb. I'm 6'4", and they told us, you know, this is a mountainous area and stuff like that. So I got boots, Gore-Tex boots. You know, the heel adds quite a bit, you know, so I look like a giant, and we're talking Central
Viking.
Asia, so, you know, everybody there is, whatever, 5
Yeah.
foot tall. So I was like, I felt very
You were a
awkward.
target.
I was out of
Right,
place.
target, yeah.
Yeah, so it was very unique. But no, I'm a sucker for a war film and whatnot, and a lot of what you see, just kind of how the town looks and whatnot, is quite relatable for me.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I've you know, when you're privileged and you don't know what anything is, and here in America, if you will, we don't see that, we make up crap, and
We have a good
to hear it from somebody else,
Yeah,
and to know that you're actually here now because you know what's going on.
right.
So, after that, you came to America. You have any other jobs? What other things have you done, if you don't mind me asking, before you started Pathway?
I've done so much. So my resume is ridiculous because I have moved 9 times across the Atlantic. I've hit the
Wow.
reset switch on my career, on my finances, friendships 9 times. It's hard.
And you got a family?
And I do now, yeah. So I have a wife and 2 kids and 1 on the way. So
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. So there's still a little bit of hair left to lose, so to say. But no, I've done a lot. I've worked primarily, you know, in the former life in logistics, warehousing, things of this nature. but I have pivoted more into the office side of things and found a love for HR and just working with people. I did a lot of volunteer work through my church in Sweden with the police, and kind of just being eyes and ears and things like this, and found that I have, to some degree, a knack for kind of reading a person and whatnot like that, and that lends itself well for an interview setting.
It's not just all book, you got experience.
No, and that's kind of, I guess, if you were to put me against a wall and, on the subject of AI taking over with recruitment and all that stuff, that's where I would tell you that the AI isn't going to be, glancing down and looking for that ankle monitor or whatever, catching these little things or picking up on the tonalities and stuff like that. So it's there's still a lot of value, a lot of insight to be had from an experienced recruiter.
That AI is dystopian. It's not.
It's scary. It's a powerful tool. I was introduced to good old ChatGPT, I guess, a year ago, and I kind of just not dealt with it. But it's scary how good it can be at times. It's also scary how bad it can be at times. I've been writing some children's books, and they are about my childhood coming here and stuff like that, right? And one example I give, now I know ChatGPT apparently isn't the AI for pictures or whatever, but I had to generate images for this book, and kind of like the old Indiana Jones where it draws the red arrow of where the airplane flew. So I told it, give me a cartoon globe showing the red arrow starting in Gothenburg, Sweden, flying to Orlando, Florida. These are fairly large cities, and you would think that it would know, but it put Gothenburg in like Germany, and it put Orlando in Brazil.
Wow, yeah, so
I kind of lost my cool because I had to generate the picture like 4 times, and it still couldn't get it.
Yeah, and this was a year ago?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm not losing my job that quick.
Yeah,
but no.
But that thing it's growing faster, and they're finally getting smart where what they learned they put back in there, and then learns from that.
Yeah.
So it's getting better.
We'll get the T1000 soon enough, right? But no, it was in 2019. I was working for a third-party logistics firm here in Lakeland in their audit department, and they unfortunately had some issues with a few clients lost, and they laid off the entire department with the exception of 2 people. And I had only been there for a year with them, so I was one of the people to walk that day. Great company, and I really liked them. I actually met them at the luau here recently and reconnected with them and stuff. They're good people. But it is what it is. Business is business, right?
Absolutely.
And so I ended up going to Express Employment Professionals here in Lakeland and speaking with the owner at the time was CJ Marcello. And told CJ, hey, I need a job. I'm back on market. I had gotten that job through Express. And he asked me, have you ever thought about recruiting, working in recruiting? And I was like, I'd love to. I've always been in management wherever I worked, and I enjoyed interviewing people, learning about their story, and figuring out what are they good at, and playing
helping them out what they don't know.
Yeah, because I mean that's a big deal to me whenever I'm in a leadership role, is playing to a person's strength rather than punishing them for what they're not strong at.
That's
because
right.
Every person is strong at something, so let's build around that. And so I stepped in there as a recruiter in November of 2019. I remember it very vividly just because I also had my son in November of 2019. That was our first. So, and in March of 2020, we had a little thing called COVID-19 that happened, and it was interesting. It was several months there where it was just me and the owner working at Express. The team moved on to other pastures and whatnot, and so it was just us. So I went from being just the guy who was supposed to learn how to recruit to being front desk, phone screener, recruiter, business development manager, office manager. All right, I'm it. So,
that's right.
So, one day I'm delivering donuts to thank clients for many years of service, and the next day I'm interviewing people and whatnot. But CJ is quite generous with his review of me. He's accredited me and the PPP loan with keeping Express afloat through the pandemic.
Kidding.
So,
oh wow.
So that was pretty neat. But no, it was I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months. It was just the 2 of us, and then we started to hire some team members and regain traction and whatnot. So it was a good training ground for me to cut my teeth as a recruiter, because that was an interesting time. Everything changed. Everything got turned on its head. We had to have essential worker letters for everybody, you know, so
Yeah.
I'm driving around delivering N95 masks and letters, you know, hey,
Yeah.
get back into the production line, we keep working, we're not sitting at home.
That's right.
Don't sit there at home and collect that stimulus check, even though that pays you more than this factory job, or
That's
whatever.
good. Yeah, you were still,
So,
you still got the,
but you had to remind them that, you know, the stimulus checks will eventually run out, but building a job here can lead to a career down the road. So what do you want to do? You know,
That's
do
right.
you want to eat now or do you want to eat later, kind of thing. So, but that's where I kind of cut my teeth. I was with Express for 3 years as branch manager then, and then I got recruited away to another firm, and I worked remote. So I was in Clearwater, but it was remote, and I did that, and that was a little bit different type of recruiting. So at Express is much more light industrial, skilled trades. We did some office services and things like this, but it was definitely more blue collar focused. And the other firm I went over to was more focused on office services and executive level positions, human resources, insurance, call centers, stuff like that. So I did that for a while, and then since then, I got laid off in January from that job, so I was there for not even a year. And I did a little bit of reflection, and one of the things that was really important to me when I started at Express, the office manager at the time, one piece of advice she gave me, and that was the one that really stuck with me, was a good recruiter builds their LinkedIn network. You need a good LinkedIn network. I had never heard of LinkedIn before. So November of 2019, I created a LinkedIn, and I just started connecting.
it's the professional
Yeah. So I'm
network.
I'm connecting, and I'm approaching 6,000 connections now.
Oh, wow.
So I refer to it as LinkedIn jail. You're allowed to send so and so many connection requests per week, and then it just says no. You're a
I
bot,
remember.
you're an AI. So I make sure I go to LinkedIn jail every week. I try to make connections only with people here locally. Definitely staying within the United States. I get a lot of requests from
Oh, you do?
Philippines or whatever. You know.
Oh, wow.
I don't
So
know.
all of this experience has led you to start Pathway on your own?
Right.
When
right.
did you start that?
So the thing I got tired of was that I felt like recruiters were a dime a dozen, because every January those were the first people to get let go. New budget, we're trying to get caught up and figure out if we're going to hire or not this year. We don't need to pay a recruiter to sit there and twiddle his thumbs, so they cut you. And I made good money as a recruiter, very good money, and the commissions were pretty bonkers, but there was no feeling of stability off of it, and I had 2 young ones, you know, and a stay-at-home, so I wanted to dabble more in HR, so I started working more in management roles and things like this, and all during that time, in my mind, I'm beginning to develop Pathway Consultants. And so I launched Pathway Consultants literally a year ago, May 1st of 25. And I launched it while unemployed and broke. And Swedes, I was describing how Swedes are socially to someone the other day, and I said a Swede is very reclusive, and we're onions. You gotta really peel the layers before we open up and, you know, tell you who we are, kind of thing. But once you've done that, a Swede is someone who will be a friend for life.
That's
And,
awesome.
Swedes, when they come here to visit or whatever on vacation, they perceive Americans as extremely superficial. Something we
They
do
got
here.
good sense too. They got a really good sense.
I wouldn't say it, but American. I'm an American, and it's we say things like, "Oh, let's do lunch sometime," or let's hang out sometime. You know, that's just something we say to kind of say I like you. You know, a Swede is whipping out their calendar. Okay, Tuesday. You know,
Literal,
like,
yeah.
They're trying to set up the appointment, so much more literal in that sense. But no, so I'm having to put myself out there and network and socialize and do all that fun jazz. I love recruiting. I love the hunt. I love helping with process improvement, developing procedures, writing handbooks and job descriptions and all this compliance. and whatnot.
So Pathway Consultants, do you go into work for a company in their HR, or do you recruit people who do that? How do you?
I can do both. So my target audience would be a small business with anywhere between 2 to 25 employees. Typically, these small businesses, they won't have a dedicated HR department. But if you are in that headcount or looking to be growing at 15 and up, you're going to run into certain milestones, certain compliance requirements within Department of Labor and things like this. And so you need to lean on someone who has those insights. So I'm certified through the Society of Human Resources Management, and so I have that certification. So on paper, I know something.
You were mentioning, we were talking earlier about programs that the federal government has that you're aware of.
Right.
Do you know tell us more about that?
So I've helped multiple companies with that, and just to kind of advise them on it and guide them in the right direction for it. But yes, there's programs in place for workforce management that help companies scale very quickly, and it relieves the financial burden in the process. And so that's something that I have insights on and can help advise on. It's obviously up to the company themselves to, handle the communication and whatnot, but I can be there as a consultant to assist.
So if you're a small company and you've got employees and you're making money and you want to scale up, they have programs.
Massive advantage.
And even grants, you said?
Right.
That will help that owner get more hires, get more, and pay it back, or what'd you say?
You don't pay it back. It's free money.
Wow.
So it's a huge advantage, and I toot their horn in every room I go to, and when I meet with clients, I tell them about it. I say, listen, you can sit down and figure this out. It's paperwork. If you would like assistance with just literally the data entry of it, preparing it and
applications.
Application, and then you got to write like a training plan for the candidate, screening, the candidates that you want to hire and whatnot. I can help with all that. I can draft that plan. I've done it with multiple companies successfully. I have doubled or even tripled headcount at companies in under 1 year. So it's a huge advantage, and it's readily available here in our area. So that's something that I definitely.
And it's through the labor department?
Right. Yeah. So it's a big deal, and small businesses are not aware of it usually.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
So
I mean, I've heard of the Small Business Administration at the Fed level.
Right.
And I even looked at it one time for myself, and it was a loan.
Yeah.
And the paperwork was ungodly. I gave up. There was no way.
We've all done government paperwork. I'm right now helping my wife, so we're working on her naturalization to become a citizen. She has a green card, and right now the stack's about this big on my desk at home that I'm about to mail in. But when you submit that stuff with a filing fee, if one paper's missing, you got to do a whole new packet with a new filing fee. So, I remember when we were doing her green card application, I was holding my breath. I hired a lawyer for $5,000, all that stuff.
Wow.
I wiped myself out financially to get it done, but we did it legally. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome.
But
So you're here in Lakeland, Pathway Consultants, small business people. Do you have a website address?
I do. PathwayLLC.us. Work in progress still, so there's some placeholder text and whatnot, but for the most part, it has the functionality it needs.
And you guys got a phone number? Or?
Yep, it's 863-286-0377.
Okay. We'll put everything down in the description for you as well.
Yeah, and for now, it's I own it together with my wife, but my wife is the stay-at-home, so she has the equivalent of 3 jobs, working with 2 and 1 on the way. So I'm not going to burden her with this.
I can only imagine.
But,
You said I like your little invested in your success.
Yeah. No, it's if my clients do well, I will do well. It's as simple as that. And I have been told, I have a few buddies who have done business for a long time, and I get in trouble with them because I give away too much. But not to sound sappy or anything like that, but I genuinely mean well in my encounters with people. I might be perceived wrong, and I blame that on being Swedish and English being my 3rd language, but in reality, I mean, I speak English just fine, right? But it's, I do mean well, and as a Christian, my company's Pathway Consultants is based off of Scripture. Your word is a light unto my pathway, and I really do aim to conduct myself in a way that I can stand before my Creator with my head held high at the end of the day. So I truly believe in being a blessing, and you will be blessed.
Thanks, sir. I'm in the same boat. Gaining credits upstairs as opposed to right here. Business can be tough and be
Right.
harsh, but when you're gaining credits where it matters,
Right. But it says in the word too, you know, don't store up here. You know,
that's
it's-
right. You can't take it with you.
Can't take it with you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every thought, every sincere attempt is known. You're not fooling nobody.
Right.
God's smarter than us.
Yes, he is.
Well, Robin, I appreciate your time very much.
Absolutely.
What a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise.
I want to thank COAS for letting me use this beautiful room. Have a fantastic day.